I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be why she constantly changes her mind. Well, I've got a quote I want to start off with along those lines. No one will ever do or say anything to you that you don't invite them to do. Well, I've got an email here that basically deals with, I guess it's a guy he's writing in for his brother, who basically, I guess this guy's wife is a master manipulator, and she's constantly changing her mind. She'll agree to one thing, and then she later changes her mind, and obviously this guy that wrote me, it pretty much drives him nuts because obviously it interferes with his life, because when he makes plans with his brother pretty much is always going along with what his wife wants. So it's a classic case of a pleaser. And so we're going to talk about having a spine and standing up for yourself, and the fact that women in relationships, they don't want the power. And a lot of guys put their balls in a box and give it to their girl, basically giving her all the power, expecting her to make all the choices, make the decisions. And women don't want to make the decisions. They don't want to plan out the date. They just want to show up, look hot, be shown a great time, and get seduced. That's the bottom line. The guy needs to handle the details in a relationship. That's why women will call you and text you and reach out to you, tell you they had a great time, but they're not going to come right out and ask you out on a date. They will still want the man to be the man in the interaction and gently lead it to where you want it to go, but they want you to be the one that makes the plans. They'll put themselves into your orbit by calling you and making it easy to have access to them, so you hopefully can take the hint that the real reason why they're calling you is because they really want to see you again soon. That's how you should handle it. So we're going to talk about here, we're going to go through this email. I got one more quote I want to share with you, and this is by an NFL player. He's a cornerback. His name is Jason Allen. And he says, "You are stronger than you think, smarter than you know, braver than you believe. Never back down, never surrender." So his email, he says, "Hey Corey, I've written you before and I've watched at least half of your videos, so thank you for sharing your wisdom." You're welcome. Glad you enjoy it. He says, "This time I'm writing you on my brother's behalf, and he's been married only a year or two, and his wife turns out to be very manipulative. At first he didn't see it, but now he is noticing her manipulative behavior for what it is. She tends to agree to one thing, but then she'll make every excuse in the world why she doesn't want to commit to what she agreed to. For example, she recently agreed that my brother could buy a particular vehicle, but when it came down to it, she gave him every excuse why he couldn't get the car. Why is he asking his wife's permission of what car he can buy? At the end of the day, if as a family you budget X amount of dollars for a car payment or set aside X amount of dollars, you can pretty much buy whatever fucking car you want. I know it's like that's how I would be. I certainly wouldn't be buying a car just so my wife gives her approval. I'm going to buy a car because it's the car that I want. Just like I want her to buy the car that she wants to buy, not the car that I want her to buy. Unless, of course, she says, "What's your opinion?" And she wants my opinion on what kind of car I think she should buy. Then, yeah, I'll give her an opinion. But you got to be your own person in a relationship. And see, this particular guy, your brother, obviously in this case, has watched way too many movies where the man is doing everything he can to please a wife and doing everything he can to keep from upsetting her. He says, for starters, she said that the one that he wanted to buy didn't look as cool as the one that she had previously picked out, but she couldn't put a finger on what it was she liked about the car that she liked better. In reality, what's going on is she's throwing this out there. What she really wants is she wants your brother to make a decision and buy whatever fucking car he wants to buy. And that's why she can't come up with a reason, is because she's throwing it out there because she senses weakness in your brother. She doesn't trust his masculine core. And at the end of the day, making decisions, breaking through barriers, accomplishing, achieving goals, that's all masculine energy. Feminine energy is about opening up to receive love. And so that's why when your brother asks for your wife to make a decision, that's why she's constantly changing her mind, because she doesn't want to make a decision. What she really wants deep down is for your brother to be a fucking man, grow a set of balls, and make a decision and buy a car that's going to make him happy, not the car that he thinks is not going to piss her off. In essence, that's the way your brother is operating. He says, I tossed her a slow pitch and explained that the other car she was talking about had been lowered and aftermarket wheels were installed. And she hit that one out of the park and ran with that. She said, that's exactly the reason, because they're lowered. She doesn't fucking know. So it's like, obviously, he could tell what's going on here. He's like, so my brother and I found another car, and then the excuse for the next car was that she didn't like the color. Yet it's the same color as the car that he already has currently. It goes on. Eventually, she told him that he could buy any car except the one he wanted. What she's really daring him is she's daring him to defy her and be a man and do what the fuck he wants to do. There was a part in the movie, I think it was called The Tourist with Johnny Depp, and there's a point in the movie like where Angelina Jolie's character sits down across from Johnny Depp's, and he's got one of these fake cigarettes, and he starts fumbling all over himself. He says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I apologize." And she's like, "What for?" And he starts mumbling some mumbo-jumbo about his cigarette and this and that. And he says, would you rather me not smoke? And she basically says to him, I would rather you do whatever the hell you want to do. Because in other words, she's like saying, I want you to be a man and make a decision for yourself. I don't want to be the arbiter of your decisions. She doesn't want the power. She doesn't want to make the decisions. And that's what your brother's doing, is asking her to make a decision. If you invite a girl to dinner and then you show up and the restaurant's kind of busy, or you pick her up and you go, do you want sushi tonight, or would you like to have steak and hamburger? And she's going to say, typically most women are going to go, I don't know, what do you want to do? Or I don't care, because they want you to make the decision. They don't want to be fucking bothered with that shit. They want to show up, check their hair in the mirror, make sure there's no chips in their nail polish, make sure their skirt's sitting right, their boobs are looking good, their cleavage. That's what they want to focus. They want to focus on girly things. They want to focus on making the plans or directions on how to get there. That's your job. They're coming along in your adventure. They don't want your role. He says she also agreed to relocate to another state, but then she started making excuse after excuse why they can't move now. That's what you say, baby, I love you, but we agreed. I already bought a house, or we've already got a lease, and so we're out of here. Now, if you want to stay here, then that's cool, but I hope you come with me because I love you, I adore you. He says it sucks because my older brother has wanted to move, and she agreed to it, and he's even applied to 10 different positions. That's when then as a man, your brother needs to figure out a plan. See, he's asking his wife to figure out the plan for moving. She doesn't want those fucking details. That's why she's flaky and she's changing her mind, because she doesn't want to deal with that shit. She wants your brother to take the bull by the horns and handle it. Come up with a financial plan where either he can line up a new job or you both can line up a new job. In other words, he needs to work out the details, the logistics of how the two of them are going to move. And what's going on is he's throwing it in her lap, asking her to do all those things. And that's not a woman's job. That's a man's job. Masculine energy is about purpose, drive, mission, succeeding, accomplishing things, breaking through barriers. That all falls under the man's department. Feminine energy is about opening up to receive love. There's nothing in there about planning your move and all that stuff. So stop. You need to tell your brother just to figure out the plan and say, this is what I came up with, honey. What do you think? And she's going to say, great, are you in or you out? He's like, I want to move. I'm tired of being here. This is the plan, and I'm going to start carrying it out, and I want to get the fuck out of here. We agreed. Let's go. I'll handle all the details. All you have to do is show up and look hot, sweetheart. That's what she wants. She wants your brother to act like the leader of the relationship, but instead he keeps deferring to her, putting his balls in a box and giving it back to her, saying, please make the decision for us. She doesn't want to do that. That's why she keeps vacillating back and forth, because what she really wants is your brother to be the man in the relationship and make the decisions and then handle the fucking details. She doesn't want to bother with moving trucks and all that and boxes and all that shit. She wants to go to the store and pick out a nice skirt, or go pick out some perfume, or go do some girly things with her girlfriend. She doesn't want to be fucking with these kind of details. It's not her department. He says she acts like she's on board and then she totally changes the terms. And I saw this coming, but I don't believe he did. My first experience with her manipulation excuses was when I was helping my brother look for the particular model car he wanted in the past month or two. I asked him what he was going to do if she pulled the same stunt and changed her mind about them relocating. He just said, she better not. I hate it here. Well, if he hates it there, then he needs to make a plan to move the family and handle it. It's not doing him any favors or her any favors for him to stay in town and be miserable because he thinks it's what she wants. He's being a pleaser and going along with it because he thinks that's what she wants. What she really wants is him to be the man in the relationship and just handle the stuff. He says, well, it's been a few weeks since I asked that question and she has changed her mind and I saw this one coming. I don't know the extent of her manipulation, but I think she manipulates him in nearly everything. Well, it's because your brother's being weak and he's not being the man in the relationship. He says, I know my brother is upset about it now that he is seeing it, and some of her excuses are ridiculous. One was that she didn't like the trees in a particular town they were driving through, so that place was no option. What's going on is she doesn't feel any peace or any comfort. To her, the whole move is going to be a stressful ordeal because your brother's dumping all this stuff on her and asking her to make the decision. But if he can present it to her in a way that shows her that all she has to do is show up, obviously get her input on the things that she'd like in a community. What kind of things do you want in our next house? What do you want in a community? What do you want in quality of life? Give me some ideas. And then his job as a man is to go find it and to make it happen. And tell her, hey, baby, this is what I got. And she'll be like, oh, thank you so much for thinking of me. He's like, I don't want you to worry about the details or anything. That's just, don't worry about it. I got it handled. You just need to show up and be ready to hop in the moving truck with me. Or follow me in your car, however you guys are handling the move. He says they couldn't even stop there to check it out. What the fuck? Who says that? Women say that when the man that they're with is not being the man in the relationship. That's when those things happen. He says, you don't like the trees, so you automatically can't move there. It's not about the trees, dude. It's all about the fact that your brother's not being a man and leading the relationship. My question is, how should he handle this situation? I've thought about this over and over, and the only thing I can think of is flat out pointing out her BS when she starts. What are your ideas? Well, if you do that, all you're going to do is create an argument. You're trying to use logic and reason to solve something that really, the root cause of the fact is that your brother is not being a man in the relationship, and he's not leading. He needs to be a leader, solve all the details, get her input, and make sure that things are in the plan that she wants. But other than that, she doesn't need to worry about the details because obviously she can't deal with the stress. That's why she becomes all unsure of herself, and she's like, oh my God, I don't like the trees, because she doesn't want to deal with it because your brother's making her deal. In essence, when your brother expects her to make a decision, he's expecting her to act like a man, and in that moment she's got to move into her masculine energy, and she can do it, but she doesn't like it. She's going to resent it, because he's in essence acting her to move out of her natural feminine essence and into her masculine essence, which is not native to her. And in other words, he's asking her to assume a role that she just simply was not built and not designed to do. So that's what your brother really needs to do to turn things around. He needs to grow a set of balls and be the leader and just handle the stuff and let her know this is what I've done. Figure out what kind of car that he wants and go buy the fucking car that he wants and be happy that he bought it. And even if she says, oh, I don't like the color, just say, well, it's a good thing it's my car, sweetheart. I love you. I think you're gorgeous. I adore you, but it's my car. And if you don't like it, well, I can put you in the trunk when we go somewhere, and then you don't have to worry about people seeing you. Have fun with it. Love's playful and fun, but your brother's got to be a man. He needs to handle things in the relationship. So if you want to get my help personally, go to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen and follow the instructions for booking a paid phone coaching session. And I will talk to you soon.